Everyone, welcome to the January meeting of the Policy Committee of the Social Equity Council. The meeting is now called to order. It is 10:06. I will now call the names of the council members. Subira Gordon, Michael Jefferson,
Present.
Ojala Naeem,
Present.
and myself, Ed Shirley. And joining us, we have Executive Director Clay. We have Attorney Matravy. We have Kyle Abercrombie, and we have Christina Diamond.
Yes.
And see, who else do we have on now? I see.
That's it for members and staff, and then we do have guests of the public.
Thank you. All right, so our first order of business will be to review the minutes. So we'll take a moment to review the minutes, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve the December minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that the December minutes be approved. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? So the motion carries. And so now we'll go into a discussion of the 2023 legislative proposals, excuse me, which you have received. And so I will, at this point, shall we take a motion to approve or before discussion?
That would make sense to me.
All right. I will take a motion then to approve the legislative proposals that the committee will present to the Social Equity Council.
So move.
Second.
Right. All those in favor? Well, first of all, is there a discussion of what was presented?
Yes.
All right. Councilman Jefferson.
Well, I would like for Christina to present, just to go over the proposals so we're very clear about what we're voting on. I read through them, but in case I have any questions, I would prefer if she would go through it.
Thank you. Christina, can you do that for us?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can just go over some of the highlights. So in this proposal, it clarifies the definition of control for social equity applicants, as well as the equity joint ventures. It eliminates the need for the council to annually recertify the DIA map. And then when the council does recertify the map in August, it will redefine the DIAs and add in a poverty rate and eliminates the unemployment rate when calculating the DIA. And these provisions were included in here based on council feedback, and then as well as UConn's presentation of their data, which they had presented at the policy committee during the summer.
Right. All
Christina,
right. Yes.
Christina,
Yep.
how often will we now be able to, will we review the DIA information? Because I know there was some discussion around that. Can you just elaborate?
Yeah, sure. So based on this current language in here, the council would just recertify it in August of 2023. And then that's it in terms of, in the legislation being mandated to do so. And again, the council may feel the need to recertify at a later date, and then we would have to put in legislation for that. One of the reasoning for that is when you add in this poverty rate and when you're calculating the DIA, a lot of the data wouldn't necessarily change anymore from year to year. So I think that was the reasoning behind it.
No, I understand. So it's going to be an annual review still by the council based on the existing legislation?
No, this new proposal, the council would only recertify in August of 2023 this year, and then that's it. That's the only mandate.
So if there is some changes in the poverty rate or some other existing measure that we have to use, we would have to put in additional legislation in order to make the necessary changes to reflect those changes in poverty or whatever other measure we're using.
If the council wanted to recertify the map again or look at new data, yes, we would need to introduce legislation again.
That's probably why it was missing. I thought there was something in here that would allow us to revisit. So we would have, this would be a one-time only deal.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jefferson. I think overall, I agree with the executive director when she was saying in an earlier discussion that the changes here do refine, I like that term, refine the documentation requirements and gets more specific with regard to the population we're trying to reach. And I think that the change in the language here does that. Any other comments? Any other questions?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So if we are to introduce different metrics in order to achieve our objectives, we would have to introduce new legislation.
I think, yes, I believe so. I mean, but
I
Christina?
just want to be clear about that because we're changing the metrics now in terms of what metrics we're using. We're changing that now. So,
Right.
Christina, can you help me with that?
Yes, so as you said, right now we are changing the metrics. We're going to eliminate the unemployment rate, which, as you know, based on the presentations, that rate sort of skewed the data because of COVID and all of that and people being unemployed. And so we've changed it to reflect the poverty rate instead. So if there are any other metrics that the council would like to use moving forward, we would have to introduce legislation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I also think that we had talked about this earlier, that in some areas, the presence of colleges and universities skewed the data with regard to employment. And it made an area look, unrealistically or inaccurately, I guess, in terms of unemployment. And this changes that. Any other questions or comments? If not, I will take a motion to approve the proposals.
We're ready to vote. Excuse me, Mr. Chair. We're ready to vote. The motion was we were in discussion.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right. We've already done that. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Then the motion carries.
Through you, Mr. Chair, is this vote based on us bringing it to the full council, or are we adopting it on behalf of the full council?
I thought we were bringing it to the council. Is that correct?
It is going to the council at a special meeting on January 24th.
I just want to clarify that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Next item for the good of the order.
Chairman Shirley, I'd like to bring up a question I had posed for clarification to Director Clay around the additional sort of policy changes that are coming in at the General Assembly around the lottery process. So I know a bill was introduced earlier this week around that by Representative Rojas, and it brings in a sort of graduated payment structure. I'm not sure, or it's not clear to me if that is both for social equity applicants and non-social equity lottery applicants. But it is something that I would like to understand and make sure we are aware of. As we know, there had been concerns coming in from the general public around the lottery process not feeling equitable because of the ability to put in as many applications as you would like. The proposed bill puts in a structure that will increase the application fee, if you may say so, based on the number of applications you're putting in. I'm still not sure if that is still the most equitable way, because I think to some extent that allows those that have money to continue putting in more applications, and ultimately not being fair or to the advantage, or at least equitable for those that we are trying to serve through this council. So I'm not sure. I know we've already got our legislative recommendations made, and that's fine, but this obviously, there are other pieces of legislation that are up in the legislature that impact the work that we are doing. So I'd like for there to be a way for us to both be able to track it, but also be able to have discussion and or some sort of support or not support of it.
So I'm going to let Christina handle that, but I will just say that we are tracking all of those things like that and doing a little bit more research on them. And we do plan to update the council on things that we find that affect the work that we're doing, and create time for members to share their thoughts and ideas, and also to give us an opportunity to kind of come up with, after we do some research, maybe come up with a recommendation based on the work. So Christina, I'm sorry if I answered the question, but can you please just elaborate on that and your work?
Yeah, I plan on sending, an update of the bills that are relevant to the Social Equity Council, and allow the council an opportunity back on that. I can say that I have reached out to Representative Rojas's office and have requested a meeting with him. So I will certainly follow up on that request and try to get clarification for you regarding whether the social equity applicants would have to pay the extra fee, as well as the general lottery applicants.
Is there a way that we could get, it doesn't have to be weekly, but I think some sort of recurring updates on the bills that are related to cannabis specifically, as it pertains to impact on the social equity piece? I think as a policy committee, it will be important during this session to, one, know what those bill numbers are and where they sit and when they're coming up for any type of vote. And then two, also be in line with an understanding of, how we feel about what's being proposed, if we support it, and where we want to take it.
We talked about providing something every other week to the, and specifically to the policy committee and other members of the council.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if we could get started on that and just have, because I don't have all the bill numbers for the ones that are cannabis related, and it's been a little tricky because I don't think everything has been updated on the CGA site. So if we can start getting those, that would be great.
Yeah, I have a bill chart that I've already started. I have every bill on there that has cannabis in it. So some of them are not related to the Social Equity Council per se, but just monitoring them. But I can send that to you after I finish going through the bills for the day. I'll send it to the policy committee.
And can you send that through, how would you do that, Christina? Email or?
Yes, yep, email.
whatever? Okay, I mean, yes, that's preferable for me, but, okay, yeah, that'd be great. I did not know, frankly, that there was a bill extant to, for whatever reason, increase the fees to social equity applicants. That's intuitively, that just seems to be headed in the wrong direction, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Any
We
other?
also- Yeah, I was just gonna say that and Christina will include this in her update, but there's also a bill to create an office of the cannabis ombudsman. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that'll be on the list of information that she sends as well.
And I believe the intent behind that one is to have a centralized location where a lot of the challenges, complaints, questions are coming in about the cannabis industry across the board, both on the medical, non-medical. I know we've had a lot of folks knocking on the council's doors in the past about mold issues. Unfortunately, that is not anything we have oversight over, but I think the goal of that office is to field more of those concerns.
All right, any other comments, questions? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Then second,
Second.
we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank
care.
you.
Take care.